Hello students, welcome back to JJ's physics class. It is very important to know how to solve numericals in physics. Today, we are going to solve some numericals based on acceleration. The first question is, an India's 500 cars velocity increases from 4.0 meter per second to 36 meter per second over a 4.2 period. What is the acceleration? First, we need to understand this question correctly. We need to know what parameters are given here and what we need to find out. Given the velocity increases from 4.0 meter per second to 36 meter per second over a time period of 4 seconds. We have the initial velocity as 4.0 meter per second and final velocity as 36 meter per second, and over a time period is given, that is t, which is equal to 4 seconds. What we need to find out here? We need to calculate the acceleration. So we need to find out what acceleration. So to find what acceleration. Now recall the equation that is connecting initial velocity, final velocity, time taken and acceleration. We have learned acceleration, which is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by the time taken, or rate of change of velocity divided by time taken. So A is equal to, V is final velocity is 36 and initial velocity is 4 divided by time is what? 4 seconds. So that is nothing but 36 minus 4 is 32 divided by 4. So therefore acceleration is 8. Now we need to know that all unit must be in SI unit. How do we get that acceleration unit? A is velocity divided by time taken. So what's the velocity unit? It is meter per second divided by time unit is what? Second. Acceleration is equal to meter per second square, or you can write it as meter second inverse of 2. That is the unit. So here acceleration is 8 meter per second square, or you can write it as 8 meter second minus 2. Next question is, the same car slows from 36 meter per second to 15 meter per second over 3 seconds. What is the average acceleration over this time interval? What is given here? Given initial velocity is 36 meter per second. That means the change in velocity happened here from 36 meter per second to 15 meter per second. So U will be 36 meter per second and V will be 15 meter per second. And the time interval is what? 3 seconds. So we need to calculate what? Acceleration. That is average acceleration. So we have the formula connecting average acceleration as V minus U divided by T. So what is V here? 15 meter per second minus U is 36 meter per second, and the time is also changed over 3 seconds. So 3 seconds. 15 minus 36 is minus 21 divided by 3. This is meter per second and this is in seconds. So what do we get here? Minus 7 meter per second square or minus 7 ms minus 2. What is minus 7 indicating? Minus sign indicating that the car is decelerating or moving with negative acceleration. Question number 3 is, starting from a stationary position, Rahul pedals his bicycle to attain a velocity of 6 meter per second in 30 seconds. Then he applies brakes such that the velocity of the bicycle comes down to 4 meter per second in the next 5 seconds. Calculate the acceleration of the bicycle in both the cases. We have two situations here. One is he starting from its stationary position. Then the second is he applied brakes. So in both cases, we need to calculate the acceleration. So first case, so it's clearly mentioned starting from a stationary position. That means here the initial velocity is 0. That means the bicycle is at rest position. So initial velocity is 0 meter per second and he attained a velocity of 6 meter per second in 30 seconds. So final velocity is 6 meter per second in 30 seconds. So we need to calculate what? Acceleration. So acceleration is v minus u divided by t, which gives 6 meter per second minus initial velocity is 0 meter per second divided by time is 30 seconds. 6 divided by 30 is nothing but 0.2 meter per second square. That is the acceleration in the first case. Second case, then he applies brakes such that the velocity of the bicycle comes down to 4 meter per second in the next 5 seconds. So here, what is the initial velocity here? The initial velocity is nothing but the final velocity in the first case, that is 6 meter per second. So the initial velocity is 6 meter per second and the final velocity is what? 4 meter per second and the time taken is what? 5 seconds. So therefore acceleration, which is equal to v minus u divided by t, which gives acceleration which is equal to 4 meter per second minus 6 meter per second divided by 5 seconds. What do we get here? Minus 2 meter per second divided by 5 seconds, which gives minus 0.4 meter per second square. The first case, the bicycle is accelerating and second case, the bicycle is decelerating. Next question is, a bus is moving at 25 meter per second. The driver steps on the brake and the bus stops in 3 seconds. What is the acceleration of the bus while braking? So what is given here? Given a bus is moving at 25 meter per second. So initial velocity is given as 25 meter per second. But what about the final velocity? Are they given any values here? No. But it's clearly mentioned the bus stops in 3 seconds. Stops means bus comes to rest. That means final velocity is 0 meter per second. And in 3 seconds. So t is 3 seconds. We need to calculate acceleration. So A is equal to V minus U divided by T, and V is what? 0 meter per second minus U is 25 meter per second. The time taken is 3 seconds. So the answer is minus 25 meter per second divided by 3 seconds. So A is minus 8.3 meter per second square. Here the negative sign indicating that the bus is decelerating or the velocity decreases to 0. Question number 5 is, a sailboat is moving at 12 meter per second when a gust of wind changes its velocity to 18 meter per second. The wind lasts 10 seconds. For that 10 seconds, what was its acceleration? Given sailboat is moving at 12 meter per second. So it is moving with an initial velocity of 12 meter per second. Then the wind changes its velocity to 18 meter per second. So the final velocity is what? 18 meter per second. And the time interval is what? 10 seconds. Therefore, acceleration is equal to V minus U divided by T. That means 18 minus 12 divided by 10, which gives what? 6 divided by 10, which is equal to 0.6 meter per second square. Therefore, acceleration is equal to 0.6 meter per second square. Thank you.